All right. 2 viewers so far. Let's give them time, like the next 5 minutes, and we'll begin. Give them time. Let's give them time. Okay. For the people, so if you are streaming, you tell me where you're streaming from. Just drop something in the comment section. It's on where you're streaming from. And let's just give the people the next 3 minutes for them to start streaming. Okay, if you're just getting in, let me know where you're streaming from. Which is, I hope you had a great trading week. Just give them time. If they are here, we will launch our session. Craig, Mr. Craig, where you're streaming from? Let me know. Let me know. I'm having problems. Okay, I think we will deal with that later. Questions later. Somebody's streaming from South Africa, from Durban. Amazing. Okay. So I think let's just get this going. Let's get this going. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If there are ladies around, ladies in the house. It's an industry dominated by males, so I know there are very few women, but I think Voice Market is really working on it, on empowering the females into embarking in the Forex industry. So we have a guest tonight. We have Mr. Ezra in the house, the founder of um, Incredible Pips. I think I'll just have to give him time to introduce himself. Then we will. He should tell us who he is, what experience he's been having, um, and for how long has he been in the markets, and what are we looking forward to seeing it there. So, Mr. Ezra.
Hello, Mr. Banks. Good evening from Dar es Salaam. How are you?
Definitely doing amazing, feeling amazing.
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I mean, I've been literally, anticipating this, really excited. I was talking to Dylan a few minutes ago, and he was telling me, and Tam told me as well, just have fun with it, And I think this is what we want to do today, just, have fun with this, talk to people and let them know what we have in our minds, what they have in their minds as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ezra, just like Mr. Banks put it out there. Really excited to be here. And I'm actually from Arusha. And when I came to Dar es Salaam, it was around January, not knowing, what's ahead. I have been pushing this business since 2014, officially. But then I started, learning and hearing about Forex way back in 2012. And for me, it was just rocket science. This was for some kind of people out there, not for me. So just like anybody else, I had my own questions, my doubts, and then come up to, all the way up to 2014, 2015, when I got the inspiration to get back in, see what's in here, learn a few things. It's been a bumpy road, it's been a bumpy road. The process of learning and relearning again, you know how it is, traders out there, you know how it is. So anyways, I've been here for at least 7 years, learning, trading, making those mistakes, educating, and finally, I got myself here early February, I met Marlon, and that's it. I found myself in vault markets. I am the founder of an academy, a trading academy called Incredible Pips, right? And so shout out to all my Incredible Pips, students out there. Yeah, it's been beautiful. Maybe some other time I'll tell you the story about how Incredible Pips came out to be. But yeah, so it's been great. And one thing that's really beautiful is that it is possible, no matter how difficult or complicated it is possible. And you see, you got your T-shirt there saying "I will win," end of story. And that's exactly what we need to hear.
It's amazing, man. It's very amazing.
Really, really beautiful. Yeah. So basically, in short, this is me. I educate, I trade, I train people, I coach people. Whoever it is, I have trained numerous types of people: taxi drivers, teachers, guys with 9 to 5s, young people, people in their 50s and 60s. I have one right now. He's in his mid 50s, and it's just beautiful how everyone is. Well, not everyone. How people are getting excited with online trading, and their excitement to kind of understand how this business works.
It's perfect. It's perfect. That is a very powerful introduction, Mr. Ezra. And I think
thanks.
everybody is excited to meet the man behind Incredible Pips. So as you guys have heard, that is Mr. Ezra, and I really wished if these platforms could have a feature of people could clap hands,
They could do it on the background. It's okay.
Yeah, they could do it in the background. Oh, they could drop something in the comment section.
Yeah, they could drop something there. Sure. Yeah.
So I think we should just get started and to dive into our topic today. We don't have a single topic. We have very brilliant ideas. I have a few questions for Mr. Ezra, and I think we will have all of us, even I myself, will learn from him. We never cease to learn.
Yeah, sure.
We keep learning every single day. So we have, I have some few questions for him, and I think we'll get to see what he has in mind regarding these matters. And I think they are very controversial subject matters, and people really need to get some insight in them.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to learn about these things so that they can clear the air, right?
Yeah.
So we've heard Mr. Ezra having 7 years of trading experience. That is very brilliant, man. This is very brilliant, and I'm really, really impressed. I'm a tough guy to impress, but I'm really impressed.
Well, I'm humbled, bro. I'm humbled, really humbled.
So,
Thank you.
So to start it off, because you have 7 years of trading experience, so I want to know between experience and capital, what is really significant, what is really important to get for someone to get really the success he or she needs. So is it about the experience, or is it about the capital when somebody's starting off the business?
Right. This is a really beautiful one. That's a really beautiful one. Think of it like this. So you have enough capital to trade, and you have the education, all right, and you have traded for a couple of weeks, couple of months, maybe a year, all right, and you come across this other person who has been in the industry, has been trading for, say, 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, maybe. Okay. Capital has its part to play. In other words, I mean, obviously, if I have a certain, type of capital, say $10,000, and you have $100, I mean, banks, I'm likely to make $100 every day, apart from you who would be, scalping for 20s or 30s here and there. And if you're lucky, you're going to make, something more than that, say 100, 200 here and there. But what I want to really say is, imagine I understand the language of the markets because I've been there. I've seen how the markets work. I understand how the market speaks to me. There's a language. You see, if I give you a sheet that's written in Chinese, if you cannot read that, then you won't be able to understand. If you cannot understand it, you won't be able to translate it. If you cannot translate it, then basically you don't know the language, right? But if I gave you something in Kiswahili or in English, you'd be able to read, you'd be able to understand. Why? Because you know the language. But you just don't know the language. You don't only know the language, you understand it too. You and the language speak a common language, all right? And so that is how I would relate, experience with capital. I could have $1,000. I could have $10,000. I've met traders who've lost 10,000 in less than a week. And in the second week, lost another 10,000. And in the third week, lost another 10,000. And I have seen people come up with $100, $200, $500 maybe, and they're consistently growing that capital without having to blow that account. How is that possible? Because you see, then experience tells you what to do and what not to do. Experience tells you when to trade and when not to trade. Experience tells you what system to use, what strategy to use, what trading methodology you should look at. All right. Experience tells you that, the markets today are not really friendly. I cannot see a setup that I understand, so I'm not going to take a trade. Okay. But a person with capital will feel like, okay, I have the capital, right? I'm going to get in for a few pips, say 50, 100 pips. I make $1,000 here and there. I mean, a quick buck, and I get out because they have that leverage, that's going to give them the chance to make a certain amount of money, fast, and then they're out of the markets. Well, great capital is good, and we all want great capital. Okay, I want great capital. Okay, it is true that with good capital, not just good capital, but with great capital, you can make so much. But you cannot compare that to a person who has experience, because a person with experience has discipline. A person with experience has patience. Okay, a person with experience understands that they need to know how to manage their emotions. Okay, a person with experience, Mr. Banks, understands and accepts that sometimes I will lose money. And so they wrap themselves around all these things, all these little elements that are actually the most important things to do, and to understand and to know. And so if you compare that with capital, you're likely to see a person with less capital to thrive in this business and grow long-term compared to a person with huge capital who's gonna, burn it in the long run because they really don't understand what they're doing. So I would go for experience, but capital is also important.
So
I would go for experience, but capital is also equally important.
That's totally amazing, and I really agree with you. Experience really matters, because I myself, I started trading in 2016. So currently, I think I have 5-6 years, if not, this is my 7th. So you might have 8 years of experience.
Beautiful.
If I'm right.
Congratulations.
So experience really matters, because the market is repetitive in nature. In my previous sessions, I talked about the market is dynamic, but also the market is repetitive in nature.
Yeah.
things that happened years back, the patterns are
yeah,
repetitive, um, uh, how the market is structures are created. So
yeah,
with experience, you'll come across scenarios that they'll be like deja vu. Like I've seen this before.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see, so
yeah,
experience gives you that. Like, okay, I know this. If it's perhaps a head and shoulder, an imperfect head and shoulder, and you're like, okay, so an imperfect head and shoulder, I've come across this perhaps 2019. So if you came across it 2022, with experience, you'll know how to tackle it. You'll know how to embrace it. You'll know how to execute it, what your
yeah,
risk exposures will be. So I'm really with you in 100% that experience really matters. And because we have seen people losing money, millions of dollars.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And without experience and without the right skill set, people keep
yeah,
losing the money.
yeah, yeah,
So touching that zone of experience and capital,
yeah,
the end goal is being successful. Everybody has his or her own perception. Like if I have experience, I'll be successful.
yeah,
If I have capital, I'll be successful. So there is that perception. But how what do you consider successful trading?
successful trading. Wow. So successful trading, if you ask me, Banks, are you consistent? Okay. How consistent are you? And the type of consistency I'm talking about here is consistent profitability. I mean, I don't care how many times you lose money, but are you consistently profitable or consistently losing money? That is what I call successful trading. So it comes with one, if I should think through those lines, discipline. All right. And thinking
Yeah,
about discipline, what I want to talk about here is, do you have a mechanism that you've devised that controls or manages how you trade, when you trade, what you trade, how you trade, okay? If you have to trade or if you don't have to trade, do you have that? Because with that, you want to talk about a person who's patient as well. Are you patient to see your setup work out? Are you patient to see your profits, reach the destination? Okay. Are you patient to see, that, all right, so I lost a position today. Are you patient to wait for another setup? Okay. Are you
yeah,
patient to let the markets give you that volatility or momentum, for you to get in? Okay. I
yeah,
love to use this phrase. You want the markets to confirm to you before you confirm to the markets.
yeah,
You want to wait for that green line, go. Green light, sorry, go. You're not going to engage your gear and start pushing the, throttle, the accelerator, it's still red. No, that requires a lot of patience. And successful traders are patient people, right? They know what to look for. They know what not to do. They know when to engage. They know when not to engage. Okay. Give an example. So you've maybe been to the Serengeti. Okay. So the
yeah,
Serengeti is a national park here in Tanzania. All right. If you've not been there, you could watch it on National Geographic. You'll see it there. There's this there's this migration of the wildebeests from one, a plane to another every year, and they keep doing that year after year after year, and they know that they're gonna have to cross some river, and this river's got what, crocodiles. It's gonna be steepy. There's gonna be deep waters in there. It's gonna be lots of mud in there, but they still have to cross over. You're born along the way, you still have to cross over. You have a broken leg, you still have to cross over. You see, but the teamwork that these wildebeests have is really impressive. But again, the idea is if one of them crosses, everybody else has to cross. Every other wildebeest has to cross. Now, you
exactly.
see, there's something to learn about this when it comes to successful trading, because it's about crossing over to the other side. Now, whether you cross over or you don't cross over, that is not the idea here. The idea is how many times were you able to cross over? Okay, because I'm sure from when this little wildebeest was born until they're, maybe what, 10, 11 years, I don't know the lifespan of these wildebeests. They have crossed over so many times, okay? But that one time, all right, or those 2 or 3 times where they were almost caught, they were patient enough to struggle and find their way out of the water, okay? But adaptability, are you able to adapt to the realities of the market, okay? Do you have a mental content, an emotional content, emotional strength, okay? Are you mentally strong? And I love saying this, so for you to be a successful trader, you should be mentally strong. And trading is not for the weak-minded, okay? Trading is not for the weak-minded. You've got to be mentally strong, okay? And that is not built overnight. It's maybe not in a year, maybe not within 2 years. And the time frame is different for different traders, okay? But it's something that you need to exercise for you to create that mental strength, all right? For you to be a successful trader. It comes with independence sometimes, being able to make your own decisions. I have a Telegram group, Incredible Pips Telegram group, and where we share. I don't do signals, and what I do is I share setups of this is my bias for euro dollar. This is what I think gold could do. All right, underline the words I'm using. Could do, not will do. Could do, because it's a probability. All right. And so this is something else. Are you able to think in probabilities? Have you accepted the fact that as much as the markets are random in a way, but also highly predictable in a way, have you accepted the fact of the probabilistic way that the market works? Okay, you want to really have that within you. And forward thinking, okay, you want to think ahead. And you could do that by forecasting or back testing, trades you took 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago. You can back test and you can forecast. You could use that, bars pattern tool to forecast your trades or back test your trades to see what worked, what didn't work, what seems to be repeating itself again, and use that power, or that as a leverage to kind of have a 70, 80, 90% predictability of what the market's going to do next. Now, all these things put together creates a successful trader, okay? And this should give you that consistency. Banks, consistency. Are you consistently profitable? All right, so that's just me.
It's very impressive. That is very impressive, and that is some very insightful knowledge. And just adding up to it, you've talked about the market being random. I myself, in my first episode, we have different perspective in approaching the markets.
Yeah.
You believe the market is random, but very predictable. But for my 6 years of 6 years of experience and the way I had to tackle the markets, I think and I believe, and the way I approach the market is very not probable, but it is some way certain. As you say, very highly predictable. So if somebody really just get that key to consistency by understanding that the market is highly predictable. So what are the highly probable setups that you'll be looking for? I think it only comes down if you have a working system. If you have a working system, you have the patience to wait for a setup to mature. And your risk exposure in the markets is it's top notch. You can really get the consistency, and what really matters, I think, on my personal opinion, I think the ability to bounce back is what makes consistency.
Beautiful.
As you said, it doesn't matter how many losses you make, but are you consistent? Are your profit more than your losses? Because losses are inevitable. You get losses. I can make $1,000 loss today, but I can make $5,000 tomorrow. So my profits are more than what I'm losing. That is very amazing, brother. So how can you compare consistency and the need to trade, the need to make money? These are two different things, and I really need to get your insight on this.
Consistency and the need to make money. Wow. Okay, so I have a plan that I follow.
Okay.
I have a system that I follow. I have a trading methodology, all right, that I follow. I have a strategy or two that I follow. All right, this is just an example. And
Yeah.
so I know what to do for me to be consistent, okay? But then for me to progress and grow, I have to be able to remember that, just like you talked about a few seconds ago, this is highly a probability.
Yeah.
You see, Kenny Rogers put it really well. Every hand's a winner, every hand's a loser.
Yeah.
You've got to know when to throw in, know when to walk away. All right.
Exactly.
You don't count your money when seated at the table, because there'll be time to count them when the deal is done. But you'll be able to know you made, you made this trade or you didn't, when your stop loss is hit or your take profit is hit or you broke even in that trade or you manually walked out of that position. All right. But then comes the need to make money. All right. That eagerness, that craving to be successful, or that craving to show off, one, but also that craving because I've got needs. All right. I've got rents to catch up with. Okay. I need to eat. Man's gonna look good. I need
Yeah.
to call. I need Wi-Fi because I'm trading. I'm gonna need some bundle. I need to travel. I'm gonna need fare. Okay. My
Yeah.
laptop is not working. I need to buy a new one or I need to change it. Okay. So sometimes we find ourselves in the journey of being a successful trader. We find ourselves trying to struggle between the need to make that money, which is okay because that's the utmost goal in this business, right? I mean, if you're not here to make money, then why are you here, right? But
Exactly.
then, yeah, I mean, but then how do you do it? The question is, how do you do it? All right. A few minutes ago, I talked about having that emotional content, that mental strength. All right. And
Yeah.
this is brought about by accepting, all right, that okay, I'm gonna place this trade today,
Yeah.
and I have no idea whatsoever that this trade is going to turn out to be the best trade of my life or a total
Chaos.
loss. Okay. We have no idea. Okay. I have lost a trade on a great setup, a pattern that I understand. I love patterns, by the way. All right. I recognize patterns like, whew, I love patterns. I think that's my go-to when it comes to trading, pattern
Yeah.
structure. And I can identify those really, really well. But I have come across patterns sometimes that were perfect in my eyes, okay, but the markets did something totally different, totally different. Okay. I'll give you
Yeah.
another example. There's a time I needed rent. Okay, this is my personal story.
Okay.
There's a time I needed rent and I didn't trust my analysis. I thought, no, 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 so and so trades better than me. So I take $200. This is back in the day when I was struggling to wants to make that cut. Okay. And I sent it to this guy in Nairobi. Can you believe that? Back in Kenya, he's supposed to be the best trader in East Africa. Goodness, we've come a long way.
A long way.
And he's supposed to trade that for me so I could, make rent for January, January, February, March, 3 months, rent.
Yeah.
Guess what? whatever happens, he says, you know, he goes for Christmas, there's no network wherever he went to, and boom, the account is blown. All right. My $200 is lost. So I'm there thinking
Yeah.
about what am I going to tell the landlord? Okay. How am I going to eat? You know, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I need the money.
Mhm.
So if you ask me how progress and consistency works with a person, a trader who is in need of that money, in most cases, you're not going to progress. You won't grow. You're going to lose that money because your decisions are not going to be right. You're going to be trading out of emotions. You're going to be trading because you need to accomplish something at that point, you know, or a couple of days from from that day, a couple of weeks from then. And so my mind is not settled. My emotions are all over the place because I have the fear that if I don't make this, everything else is, you know, kaput. And what else? What happens after that? My capital is gone, so I can't trade anymore. I'm gonna go wanting to borrow money from someone, you know, which in most cases you get to blow again, you know.
Yeah.
So banks talking about that, yeah, I think the need to make money should be just it should be natural. I mean, there
It's
shouldn't be a
natural.
struggle. There shouldn't be a struggle. It should just happen without me having to think about what if I, you know, make the cut? What if I don't make the cut? What if this trade goes well? What if it doesn't go well? You know, I'm not a good enough trader, or that guy's a good enough trader. You know, I think that's not going to get you to progress or to grow or to be consistent. In most cases, you're going to blow that account.
Exactly. It's very
Yeah.
amazing. And I think talking about no, what is this? Progress.
Yeah.
There is one institutional trader that I follow.
Uh-huh.
He said he said that humans are really bad traders
Right.
because because how they approach the market and how they use emotions to approach the market is totally different from what they should really be doing.
Yeah.
Involving the emotions in trading is really not significant. You'll be prone to
Yeah.
losing a lot of money if you mix emotion with logic, because I
Yeah.
I, I, re I really believe in trading you're supposed to be like a machine, like a robot. You you are processed to play by the book. You have a set of rules. If you are trading a system, you're supposed to respect the system. You're not smarter than the system,
Yeah.
right? So you should respect it. So trading with our emotions, like what you said, having the need or the craving to make money, it should be positive, but when it is negative, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
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 So I'm really with you on that. That the need should be natural.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a struggle, like pulling yourself, like forcing yourself. I need to make this money. So only then you'll be involving emotions into trading. So you'll see an imperfect setup as perfect because you want to place the trade right there. So the market, what the market does, the market might show you what you want to see, not what you want to see in the market. The market can be really manipulative some at times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we get used into taking trades that are against the trend, and we get totally squashed by the big boys, as you say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mr. This is really getting interesting. We're having a lot of fun. So, I want to know something. I want to know something. We spoke about experience, but what are your thoughts on experience and knowledge? Can experience really beat knowledge when it comes to trading?
Okay. Um, so I meet so many people, I meet clients who want to learn how to trade. And not all of them, but most of them come and you ask them. I usually love to know a person's experience before, you know, I sign them up for, you know, my course here and there. And most of them will tell you Yeah, I have some experience. I've been trading for the past 2, 3 years. Okay, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, okay, so then what has been difficult, or what has been your challenge then? I mean, what kind of training do you need? Would you say you're an intermediate in an intermediate level, beginner level, intermediate level, or are you in an advanced level, so that I know what type of material to share with you, or to give you, what areas to touch in, so I'm not taking you all the way back to, what you've done already before. And then they'll be like, well, I'm not really sure whether I'm intermediate or advanced, but I have some experience. Oh, okay. So how do you trade? Do you have a system that you follow? Do you have a trading plan? Do you have some kind of strategy that you think you're consistent with? What is your problem in the market? Is it getting out too soon, or is it getting in too soon, or getting in too late? Is it holding your losses too long, or is it holding your profits? Because you have to understand also how long you're holding your profits. When to get out in a winning trade, but also when to get out in a losing trade. And in most cases, they won't have an answer for me. And so I'm asking them, all right, so do you have some kind of education? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've learned. I've been reading books. Book by Mulehi Sahoma on candlestick patterns, and
Yeah.
I've been watching lots of YouTube videos. By Mark Hutchinson, the Falcon Trading Guidance, and Baby Pips. And so many different things. And
Yeah.
these are great people, people who have jobs, people with families, students, some of them. They look like people who could be really great traders as well.
Yeah.
And then I have to hit the question now. So what would you say? Do you have knowledge? Have you acquired some kind of education, here or there, professional education? And they're like, not exactly. But I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I understand what I'm doing. And so then why do you need the training? You've come here, you need the training. What kind of training do you need?
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you, I just want to know how to enter the market, how to exit. Every time I set my trades, I'm taken out so quickly, or sometimes the market goes in my favor and then quickly, takes me out, and I'm in profit only to give it all back to the markets.
Yeah.
And so you discover that, okay, this person has some kind of experience, some kind of
Some kind
experience,
of.
not exact experience. They have experience learning from reading books, which is okay, learning from watching YouTube videos, which is totally fine. Or others have had to register for a certain course online, and I totally love that. But have you had a hands-on experience, relationship with the markets? Is there some kind of relativity between you and the charts? You know, do you understand when you look at the charts? When you tell a story, do you see yourself in there? Is there some kind of experience when you look at the charts? You know,
Yeah.
and and they'd be like, no, no, you know. So I think you could have experience, 2, 3, 4, 5 years experience
Yeah.
of simply looking at charts and watching YouTube videos here and there, which is great.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have education. You don't have the education. You need proper education, some kind of professional education from people who are experienced, who are also trading. You want experience. You want to be educated or mentored or coached by a person who's seen it, done it, lost it, bounced back in, tried again and again and again. Okay. And so if you compare these two people, you come across a person with 6 months experience, and they're amazing traders. They're doing really well. And you come across a person with 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience, and they don't know what they're doing in the markets. They've never made $200. So what kind of experience do you have? I mean, seriously, what kind of experience do you have? So if you guys are listening out there, if you say you have experience, bro, lady, gentlemen, how profitable are you? You know, how profitable are you? One, you know, can you explain to someone? Can you coach someone? You know, you don't have to be a teacher to do this. Could you, could you guide somebody? All right. Can you see yourself progressing, growing? Okay. Do you see some kind of change? All right. For you to say you've had experience, you know, or else do you have the knowledge? All right. So the two should go together. But if you ask me, a person with knowledge is going to do better than a person with experience. But the two should go together in the long run, you
Yeah,
know, because it's experience, you know, they say it does no good, you know, teaching a fool a new rule, because even if they have experience in the streets, they're not going to understand red means go. I mean, green means go, red means stop. They're still going to move. You've come across those kind of guys on the streets, okay?
yeah, definitely.
So they've crossed that road several times, but they still don't understand the meaning of green and red, you know, because as much as their experience crossing over that area over and over and over again, they don't know what green means. That means they don't have the knowledge. In other words, they don't have the education. Okay. So
Yeah,
if you have the education, you're going to know that blue means buy, red means sell. A downtrend, you look for selling opportunities. An uptrend, you look for buying opportunities. This is a pattern. This is what it does. This is the behavior of this pattern. All right. This is structure. I'm going to wait for a break, a correction, or I'm going to follow the trend, you know, or I'm going to, whatever it is. This is an order block, or this is what people say they have experience, but they cannot trade because they don't have the knowledge. So I
yeah.
believe the two should go together. One is not greater than the other. All right. The two should go together. Knowledge and experience should marry each other for you to be successful.
It's perfect. It's really amazing. Super insightful. And and uh, and I think when it comes to knowledge and experience, we give we top we tip our hats for knowledge because you first need the knowledge, and
Yeah.
then you get the experience,
Then you get the
right?
experience.
Yeah, then you get this because you cannot go into the market to obtain the experience if you don't have the knowledge uh,
Exactly.
to to embrace the market.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think yes, they're both important. They should go together. But
Yeah.
I really think knowledge comes first, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People should seek the knowledge and then they should
Yeah.
go for experience. Then
Mhm.
the two should not be teared apart. They should be intact so that you can have that consistency and
Yeah.
uh, being active in the market and
Yeah.
getting to the end goal of being a successful trader.
Yeah.
That's very amazing. So at the beginning of the session, you talked about the market being very highly predictable, but we should understand and we should accept it being probable as well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you, and regarding this probable and possible,
Mhm.
it's a very big battle because
Yeah.
there are traders who believe in probability. They trade using the theory of probability, but there are traders who trade with the theory of certainty. So I really need to get an insight from you, just to
Yeah.
know because on that topic, I think we will get um, something out of it.
Right. That's a beautiful one. So professional traders think, I believe professional traders think in probabilities. What is happening now in the markets?
Yeah,
Current price action. What is happening now? Sorry to say, amateur traders think possibilities. What will happen? Now, let's be careful with this. Certainty of the market does not necessarily mean I know what's going to happen next. I could actually relate certainty to probability. In other words, I'm giving myself room, well, for the markets to tell me that, hey, watch out. as much as your setup here is great, anything can happen. All right. How many times have we been tagged out and the market just reverses to where you were, expecting the markets to go to in the first place? Okay. The market moves in your favor, but before it moves in your favor, it tags you out. Okay, tags you in, tags you out, and then moves back, in the direction that you thought the markets would go to. So me being certain, I would also love to still have a probability type of mindset when trading. In other words, I have seen this setup over and over and over again. I have seen this pattern over and over and over again. I know that this is a head and shoulder pattern. I know that this is a diagonal, okay? I know that this is a flat correction. I know that this is the third wave. I love the wave principle, okay? I combine patterns, okay? That's like popcorn and soda for me. I love patterns, all right? So talk about pattern recognition, all right? And then I love to combine that with structure, I love to look at where the market is heading to, and I love to combine that with the wave theory, okay? With the wave principle as well. And it's just a very powerful tool, when I trade. But does it mean that it's always gonna work out? Not exactly.
Not exactly, yeah.
Okay, not exactly. It's not always gonna work out in my favor. Now, if it does not work out in my favor, was I the cause of the markets not moving in my favor? No, it wasn't me. I didn't cause the markets to not move in my favor because the markets are never wrong. Okay, I don't know if you've been to a casino. I've not been to one, but there's a saying that the house always wins.
Yeah, sure.
All right, exactly. So the same thing when we look at the markets are never wrong. Okay, does that mean I was wrong? Well, this is how I picture it. I wouldn't say that I was wrong, but I would simply say that I just didn't see something in the market that somebody else saw. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is why I love to say sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. There's no loss for me.
There's no loss. Exactly.
Yeah, there's no loss for it. It's just always it's just always a learning process in the market. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, in the reality, yes, I lost. Okay, but for me, it's a learning process. So I would want to combine these two together and try find relativity between these. It is okay to be certain, but at the same time, give room for probability.
Probability, yes.
Never give yourself 100% assurance. I love to think of it as a highly predictable, high probability assumptions. You could get that high probability assumptions of what the markets could do and not what the markets will do, no matter how beautiful my setup is. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, this price chart here looks really certain. If I look at it, I have done this 100 times, 200, 500 times. I know how this works out. Fine, cool. But at the same time, what is the probability that price could actually go in my favor versus the possibility that it won't? Because we've seen that happen over and over again.
Yeah, sure.
And so, yeah. And so as much as I think, okay, as much as I think that this is going to be a great trade today, I'm still giving myself room, okay, for the probable.
Probability, yeah, that's crazy.
Because anything is possible, or anything is possible in the market. So I'm going to walk in with a probability mindset. What is happening now? All right. Versus what will happen. That is how I would love to picture it. And so if I'm taking a position in the market or two, I'm going to give myself room to lose as well. So this is what I usually say. Before you place that sell, no matter how certain you are, before you place that sell or that buy, whether it's a pending order you're going to buy or execute by the market, always be prepared for anything that could happen. Okay. In other words, are you willing to take the loss if the market goes against you? Because Mr. Banks, you know as well as I know that whatever you do in the markets, as soon as hit that sell or that buy, you have no idea what's going to happen. No idea whatsoever. All right. And this is what gives me so much confidence when trading. The idea that I'm okay to take $100 worth of loss, but if the market moves in my favor, I'm going to make $1,000. That for me is certainty escorted with probability, all right, put together. Always works, always works. It calms me down. Okay, I'm not emotional. It keeps me sane, all right? My mental status is, well, not 100% calm because we're talking about money here, right? I mean, we all have fear sometimes, but you need some kind of cushion to your mind when trading. And so that's how I think about these 2 or 3 elements.
That's really amazing, Mr. Ezra. That is really, really powerful knowledge that you have just dropped to people. And I think I've learned something from it as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's really amazing.
Thank you.
So
Beautiful.
I think this is really getting interesting. We could just keep on going and going and going, just keep talking, just keeping the people excited. I think we should do this more often and often. I think, and I'd really love to really keep these interviews going. Perhaps in episode 7 again, I have to be with you, just keeping the knowledge flowing.
Thank you, thank you, thank
It's
you.
really amazing because we have just used more than an hour, and it's almost an hour now, just talking about these, and really insightful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And
I
it
had no
has really
idea.
been. I told you we are having fun in here.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the people who are streaming right now have heard Mr. Ezra in the show, Trading Talks with Banks, and this is really amazing. And we have really tried to you have tried to capture our minds, try to get what we have to offer you guys. And there's a lot of knowledge that you have picked from us. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd really love this session to keep going. And I think I'll have to really push it. The next session, you have to be here again. Me and you, man.
Humble. It's really humble. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
So it was really nice having you, Mr. Ezra, on the show. I think we have
Thank you. Thank you.
to keep this interesting. I think the people there is a giveaway for the first person, or the person who will tell me what are the 5 keys of staying consistency in the markets will win 1,000 rands funded account, Volts Market funded account. That's it.
Whoa.
So I'm just gonna give time. So you guys have to drop that in the comment section, and we will review who wins that. 5 keys of staying consistent in the market, and whoever gives the best answer will win 1,000 rands on the account. So it was really nice having Mr. Ezra on the show, and I'm really looking forward to having you on the next episode, trying to brainstorm these trading ideas. Is really amazing.
Thank you so much, Banks, and thank you everyone for watching and listening and your contributions. Thank you for the support. It's been amazing, and really humbled to have this opportunity to share with you. And shout out to Vault Markets for this platform. You guys are great. You guys are great. You guys are great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And so I think we should end. This is the end of our session. You guys should really drop the comments, like, what are the 5 keys of staying consistent in the markets? 1,000 rands. It's not something small. If you guys get, if you really give me the reasons of staying consistency, that 1,000 rands could be 1 million rands in a very short period of time if you have the consistency.
Beautiful.
So again, Mr. Ezra, thank you so much, and as I said, it has been really amazing having you on the show. I really love and I really like to see us keeping this up. These interviews, they are really